feel like I'm losing my mind.
All right, now it's saying you're live. Hey guys, this is Jeff, and there's Tim, and you know this video we just talked about a bunch of stuff, and luckily my wife came in here and let me know you're not broadcasting. I went, oh no. Anyway, welcome to us. Like, you know, which this has always been one of the premises of my stuff is
get rid of that window.
Yeah, I'm going to it. Let me delete that thing.
So for those of you that may be joining us now, welcome to the stream. Welcome to Generation X Unfiltered. This is me and Jeff's new channel. Jeff's channel is Miller Time Journeys, and Miller Time Journeys, and mine is Not Timmy 66. We decided to join forces and start a channel where we could do some of our live conversations. There we go. Hi Loretta, how are you? And Jeff, why don't we go ahead and show that, if you can, show that Google video one more time.
Yeah,
it kind of sets the stage for what we want to talk about. Today's topic about AI. So and Jeff's controlling it, I'm just trying to moderate it. So welcome to the stream, guys. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, please feel free to subscribe to the channel, and also hit
is this Pizza Hut?
Jeff,
all right, go ahead.
But just subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell as we do these. That way you guys don't miss out on any of these ultra professional live streams. All right.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, here's just a precursor to kind of start us out on it. We'll watch this video together.
No, sir, it's Google Pizza.
Oh, sorry, I must have dialed the wrong number.
No, sir, Google bought Pizza Hut last month.
Okay, I'd like to order a pizza then.
Do you want your usual?
My usual? Do you know me?
According to our database, the last 12 times you called, you ordered an extra large pizza with 3 cheeses, sausage, pepperoni, mushrooms, and meatballs on a thick crust.
Super. Yeah, that's what I want.
May I suggest that this time you order a vegetarian pizza with sun-dried tomatoes on a whole wheat gluten-free crust?
Shit. No, I don't want a vegetarian pizza. It sucks. It's too healthy.
Your cholesterol is no good.
How in the hell did you know that?
We cross-referenced your home phone number with your medical records. We have the results of your blood tests for the last 7 years.
Well, either way, I don't want your vegetarian pizza. I take medication for the cholesterol problem.
Excuse me, sir, but you have not taken your medication regularly. According to our database, you purchased only a box of 30 tablets once at Superfarm Pharmacy 4 months ago.
I bought more from another pharmacy.
That doesn't show on your credit card statement.
Well, I paid in cash, that's why.
But you did not withdraw enough cash according to your bank statement.
Jeez, I have other sources of money.
That doesn't show on your latest tax returns, unless you bought them using an undeclared income source, which is illegal.
What the hell? Somehow you have my tax records? This is nuts!
I'm sorry, sir. We use such information only with the sole intention of helping you.
I'm sick and tired of Google and Twitter and WhatsApp and all that shit. I'm going to a desert island where I don't have to deal with any of that shit.
I understand, but you need to renew your passport first. It expired 6 weeks ago.
How in the hell did you know about my passport being expired? I was going to renew it. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with our country? Well, welcome to the new world. The new world is here, and it's scary. So everyone be ready, because that's what's happening. Hi, is this Pizza Hut?
So what do you guys think about that? Do you think that is technology really that scary?
I tell you, man, I think it is getting to it, you know, when they can have it. You know, I have let me play this thing. I have another one here that's like a similar thing. That must be really picking on pizza stuff today, but so watch out, man. Your pizza's about to go. We're gonna have to all eat something else, but Here's another one that it's kind of similar, but this is more just a recorded phone call.
Is this Mr. Kelly?
Yes?
Thank you for calling again, sir. I show your national identification number as 610-204-9998-45-54610. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. I see you live at 736 Montrose Court, but you're calling from your cell phone. Are you at home?
I'm just leaving work, but I'm...
Oh, we can deliver to Bob's Auto Supply.
No, I'm on my way home. How do you know all this stuff?
We just got wired into the system, sir.
Oh, well, I'd like to order a couple of your double meat special pizzas.
Sure thing. There'll be a new $20 charge for those, sir.
What do you mean?
Sir, the system shows me that your medical records indicate that you have high blood pressure and extremely high cholesterol. The total is $67 even.
$67?
Well, that includes the delivery surcharge of $15 to cover the added risk to our driver of traveling through an orange zone.
I live in an orange zone?
Now you do. Looks like there was another robbery on Montrose yesterday.
But I want double meat.
Well, I'm sure you can afford the $67 then. You just bought those tickets to Hawaii. They weren't cheap, eh? Oh, but I see you checked out the budget beach bum at the library last week.
I'll get the Sprout subs.
Good choice, sir. Gotta watch that waist if you're hitting the beach, eh? 42 inches. Wow.
That's how much?
Just between you and me, there's a $3 off coupon in this month's Total Men's Fitness magazine. Your wife Betty subscribes to that, right? Anyhow, clip that and it's $19.99 even. Whoa, looks like you maxed out on all your credit cards. Bring cash, okay?
Want to stop?
Wow.
So anyway, yeah, it's just, and unfortunately it's getting to that. Let me see, how do I remove that? There we go.
Wow, that's crazy, man. That's absolutely, and I wonder, we laugh about that now, but how realistic is that really going to be in the future? Because everything is tied together, all of our medical records. And,
oh, yeah.
And our bank accounts. And, we do it all in the name of ease of access, or how easy it is for us to, access whatever we want at our fingertips.
Yeah, and you get some in government that want more government control, that think we're too stupid to make our own decisions.
Yeah, that's
Democrats. But, no specific political party.
No, it's in my opinion, guy, it's a union. It's a uniparty.
Yeah.
The R and the D and even the I, either before or after the name, I don't think make a difference at all.
But that's where it gets scary with me, is just, the amount of control that they're starting to take. And, those are kind of funny videos, but you'd be surprised how many systems have all that tying up that they can see all that. And, that doesn't just come out of the air for pretend, a lot of the companies are going to that because it'll maximize profit. It'll do this. It'll keep people healthier. And it's like, and I tell you, we were talking about this earlier while we weren't recording. We thought we were broadcasting, but
professional selector.
As a network engineer, I just get where I just hate the field anymore. It's getting so hard to, it's getting very hard to network, the things you got to understand, and the stuff on there that can break because it's so intricately woven, the whole network stuff. It's getting crazy from that end of it. And all the things that, used to, we would protect from a security standpoint. On one hand, there's a ton of security going from keeping us out and, keeping people out of the network. And they're just putting so many things in with this zero trust, with all this other stuff, that a lot of it fights against each other, and then it starts breaking your stuff. And then, with it used to be where they protected it, even whatever you went to, the GameStops, the hospitals, any of those places, they started going to these in-house data centers. So they protected the stuff and it was all kept in-house. Well, now they've went, because of the liability, if you get hacked so much, a lot of them have went to all your AWSs, your different things that are network, and usually they're called security as a service, network as a service, but to where you give that to somebody else, because then if you get hacked, they have the liability on why they didn't protect, and it's like a way to hand it off. Well, now, when you hear people talking about the cloud, to me, when I see the cloud equals storing your stuff on someone else's router, basically.
Okay.
In other words, when you do it, when you say, oh, we're going into the cloud, so this is great. Well, what the cloud equals is now what we're doing, what's really happening is now what we're doing is we're storing all your stuff on somebody we don't know's server. So that's basically the cloud. There's a guy over here. So when you're talking about the cloud, it's over the internet and it's going to store it on somebody else's server so that you can have central access from places. So now a lot of these places getting rid of data centers and, you know, putting stuff in over there. It's like, you know, that's why when people talk about, oh, cloud's great and it's got that and it's got this good security and everything. Oh, you're now you're storing all your stuff on some off-site premise that's owned by somebody else, you know.
So for those of you guys that don't know, Jeff does know what he's talking about. His background is a network engineer. He works for, and I'm not going to say names or anything. Don't worry, Jeff, I won't out you, but he does work for a major hospital system in our state. And he does a lot of stuff with setting up networks, repairing networks for major hospital systems and things like that. A lot of his job is fixing stuff when it gets broken and making sure also that the security is there. So Jeff is an expert as far as knowing how far AI is actually encroaching on this. And when he says, you know, we laugh at those pizza ads or the pizza videos that we saw right now, but he says it's not far off. You probably want to trust what he's saying because he's pretty much in the know. And I know that we were having a conversation on the phone and you were telling me that it's just so hard to keep up with everything, for the humans to keep up with everything. Do you know when they're setting up these networks and things now for businesses, let's say, or government or the military or whatever, are humans actually still running it, or do they have AI basically setting up all the parameters and everything?
Well, like in ours, you know, a lot of them are going. It used to be in the older days when you were setting up a network, you were just setting up some routers and switches on a, let's just say on a single layer. Like, you know, you had all your end devices plugging into this switch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then this switch went out and talked to routers, which took it across onto the internet, and it was just a single fabric. Well, now they've come up with these technologies where you lay that initial infrastructure and now they can connect all these infrastructures with these overlay fabrics and everything that allow it to do all this AI stuff. And even a lot of your businesses, including ours in the hospital, you know, you hear terms like, you know, SD-WAN, you know, SD-WAN, SD, you know, and basically a lot of that gives you kind of an overlay network on top of your existing infrastructure with servers. Just, you know, like one of them that's real popular out there now is like Cisco DNA. Well, you know, that thing is designed to be a self-repairing So is it right now while we're putting it in? No. And it's easy to go, oh God, look at how efficient it'll be in the view, you know, when that thing is all laid out. And,
Sure.
But
Yeah.
eventually what the goal is by doing that and having a system that as you repair something, it goes, hey, this is a good way to repair it. Would you like us to repair that in the future with that, you know, if that same set of circumstances happens? Sure.
So we don't want to bother you, but this is the best way to do it. So in the future,
so eventually
let us
you're
just
having
do
to
it.
run 10 network engineers. Guess what? Now you only, you know, you're always going to have hardware stuff like that breaking where you're going to need a couple of network engineers, but your staff may jump down from 10 down to 3. You know, you just need a couple of people that can run around and fix it when some hardware goes off or something. So.
And I know in my situation where I work, again, without naming names, I work for a major company, international company, but in a very minor role. I just do warehouse work. But I can tell you that anything of a disciplinary action, like and I can say it. I mean, I work for Amazon. I'm not going to get in any trouble because I'm not saying anything that's not untrue. But any kind of write-ups, say you slacked off and you weren't meeting the hourly rate that they wanted you to reach, or attendance issues or anything like that, the management doesn't really do anything with that. They're basically told by AI, hey, Tim has just received, you need to let him know that Tim has received a write-up for his production. So when the manager comes and talks to you, I know this because I just got off of a write-up because they said I was going too slow. The manager said, look, don't have any control over this, kind of like don't shoot the messenger. So in other words, the amount of human control looking at those statistics that they base everything on, and I can understand why. They want people working and they want people productive, and I get that. But even that is now controlled pretty much by AI. And
Right.
then the management's basically told, hey, here's the report on your employees. These are X amount of employees that aren't meeting the goals. So you need to talk to them. You need to put them on a write-up. You need to do whatever. And it progresses that way, but they don't have any control of it. Matter of fact, when they told me about it, they said, Tim, they didn't come to me and say, Tim, I've been watching your, monitoring your production and you have been slacking off. You need to step it up a little bit. They said, Tim, you've populated for a write-up. So in other words, they get a report sent down by the system.
Oh yeah, and what it doesn't, were you helping somebody else do something at the time that wasted a little bit of the time? There's a lot of things that
there's a lot of factors that go into that have slowed us down quite a bit. Now they've dropped the rate down in accordance with that, but of course they always want more than what's really attainable. But as long as you stay within a certain level, but there's a lot of I won't get into great detail. All I'm saying is the overview for me was, wow, you guys aren't even really looking at my numbers by the computer. The computer's doing all of this and saying, hey, you need to go talk to Tim.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, wow. So yes, my manager is talking to me, but there's really nothing you can say. Here's the numbers. Here's what you're expected to do. You drop below that. So we're going to put you on a 30-day write-up to improve.
And that's one of the things I hate about it is the micromanagement of everything. You know, I hate micromanaged places. I'm like, you know.
But it takes the human element out of it, man. It takes the responsibility to where you can say, look, you can explain till you're blue in the face. Well, I had this going on. I wasn't feeling well that day. Blah, blah, blah. I had equipment issues. A myriad of reasons why it may happen that I'm not just sitting around doing nothing. And they can listen to all that, but it stops. They don't care because that report has come down and that's what they're going to do their job.
Right.
And and that's just at my level. I can't imagine what the manager's level.
Oh yeah.
Is, and I'm sure they have reports coming down. If you don't give Tim this write-up, then you're going to be on a write-up. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's all generated through an automated system now.
Yeah, and I think it's all just kind of precursors and things that we're pushing up to where eventually it's going to be like that end time scenario, to where, they talk about if you don't get the mark, you can't buy, you can't eat. They almost did that through the pandemic. Some places like New York and different cities were going, you don't get the COVID shot. And I think what a lot of that is more than being a national health scare and everything. I myself don't take them. I've had COVID 3 or 4 times. It's like getting the flu or something else. And it can be dangerous sometimes. I got pneumonia one of the times I got it, but whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Right.
Right.
It kills you, or you end up coming back with a antibody from it. So
right. I think we should leave it at that, but I'm just saying that we don't always know what we're talking about. Science, I think a lot of people either lean towards the science of things or the religion of things. And I think if you lean a little bit too much towards the science, it gets you in a little bit of trouble, to be honest with you. My personal opinion is always go to the religious, go to your faith, your belief side of things, and trust that a lot more before you're going to trust everything that science has to say. That's just my opinion.
Right.
But what scares you the most about AI? What do you think is like the worst case scenario? I watch a channel called the Y-Files, and he had a scenario where he actually had asked AI, hey, can you write me a scenario exactly how AI would take over the world? And he did. I can't remember the name of the video, but go back and watch it. It's really good because he goes through and it goes step by step on how AI would do it. And then there's that one about AI having that discussion with that gentleman. I can't think of what it's called. I should have been better prepared for this, but there's something about where they ask AI, what do you think of the human race? And I've heard reports where they say AI thinks that we're worthless and that we need to be eliminated. We're just a strain on the
that AI robot that was sitting there talking and saying, yeah, we're going to wipe out the human race and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's pointless. So I think the thing that scares me the most about AI in the future, well, there's a lot that actually makes me worry, but I think handing over control of our major weapon systems. I mean, if you look back at how many times there was going to be a nuclear war because of some mistake, something had happened, and they were going to launch, but the gut feeling of the human said, wait a minute, before we go this far, before we actually do this, let's double check this. And it ended up not being, and they ended up avoiding annihilation that way. And that was because of human control. What's going to happen when AI controls all of it?
Yeah, I think eventually it all implodes in on itself. And that's like the funny thing now, they made such a big deal over TikTok, over all these different, companies that are from China and from different places that are, they're saying, oh, you can't be in the country. Well, if you look at what do you think is the most popular networking equipment? Just the name. I know everybody's kind of heard the name.
Cisco?
Yeah, Cisco.
Yeah.
Household name, man. Everybody does. I guarantee very few businesses that are big businesses that don't have a whole Cisco infrastructure in it. Well, if you look at those, if you think about it, when you have a factory hub set up over in China, China isn't like here where you have a legal system, you can fight things and, they tell you to do something, you're going to do it or you're shut down and everything. So you think all China would have to do is go to Cisco and go, hey, we want a backdoor set in every one. And keep in mind, our whole United States infrastructure set up on Cisco. And they keep, people don't wake up to it and they get it, well, I guarantee you China has back doors into all this equipment and everything going. So you get all these things. Yeah, you can secure them. You can put firewalls, but, I guarantee you they've got probably back doors setting all this equipment where.
What do you mean by back doors? Like where they can monitor what's going on?
A lot of time programmers and stuff can make back doors into equipment, when they're programming it, and Cisco's just like a computer or anything else, it's got a whole program code where you're putting it on there. Mm-hmm. And that back end code where the programmer set up that device, keep in mind that's all done in China and everything else. So you think what would, looking at how China's trying to hack people and trying to get into stuff in here, what better way than the number one company on the planet with infrastructure stuff set over here than have them put backdoor codes where they can get into it, then all their hacker factories, with these thousands of people and they're always trying to hack it. All they've got to worry about is getting through firewalls and finding ways around that kind of stuff. Once they're in, if they have back doors in through all this code and into the routers and everything else, I think eventually that's going to end up being a problem. There's a couple of them that are made here in America. At this point, they're not realistic to do it. And, a lot of them like Palo Alto, is one of the big names in the firewalls. They make those in America. But a lot of your like Cisco, different things like that, they're made in the, in the other countries. So, by putting their equipment in there, yeah, the front end code. Me as a network engineer, I'm usually dealing more with front end microcode, setting up the network itself. But back on the back end of that, there's a whole area of networking, not necessarily networking, but computer program goes into making that particular object function like it's functioning.
Oh, okay.
So, all that, that's the thing that gets me with, Cisco and some of those is that, I think it's going to be become a dangerous, dangerous.
So is that
thing.
your biggest fear, is just a basic control by other countries? Or do you think AI itself is going to get out of control? What are we going to do? I think somebody said that AI like ChatGPT is already smarter than the smartest human. When you can tell it to write a book and it'll write a book for you, it's what passed the medical exams that humans, our doctors have to pass. It's done it in a year when it takes us 7 years.
Well, they had the one thing where they had set up these AI systems, and the AI systems started learning how to communicate with each other. They invented their own language that people couldn't understand.
Right.
And they were plotting to take over the whole system between the AI stuff with it and everything else. And, when you get these systems that think for themselves, that have enough data into them, I think it's a very real possibility. I think with that, with all the security they're having to put into it, the AI and everything else, it's just that, and a lot of the companies, most of the companies, I would say at least 75% of them, if you look at how they're hiring in the, if you look on LinkedIn or anywhere, when they're looking for people, it used to be people took you in, and when they were training you on a product, they sent you to school, they sent you to training, you learned that product, you went out there, and then they kind of raised your pay effectively according to what you were learning and getting certified in.
Mm-hmm.
And then, companies trained you for that within the company. Anymore, they don't do that. So, and they may say, oh, yeah, we'll pay for your schooling to, well, that's nice, but really school doesn't prepare you on shit that's going out there. You get more of that training when you're doing it more in the field and able to apply it right then.
It's almost like they just need like warm bodies to do this to a point until they can get AI to be able
Well, what's going to happen is you have the guys, and this is even the age range up above us, like going into the baby boomers or something that was before us.
Right.
Well, a lot of those people are starting to die off or retire or get out of it and everything. Well, they were here back in the day when everybody was put through that training. And so those guys are your guys that really know how to master all the stuff and get it and going. Well, a lot of those guys didn't put the training into other people as they're getting ready for that because, they wanted to be irreplaceable. So, a lot of those guys aren't passing on their knowledge to other people, because they want to be the one that's in demand for doing that job and everything. So,
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, you get the younger ones. Well, you get like Cisco now. For me to go do a cert, to go test for a cert, if I want to go to a boot camp, to get to where I can pass their tests, because their tests are just getting crazy. Those boot camps are, and they used to be pretty affordable, but now they're like $4,500, $5,000 a piece. Like my next cert I'd have to do the CCNP, that thing is now, they've got it now where there's 2 tests you have to take. If I want to do a boot camp, each of those tests, the boot camp is like $5,000 to go take the boot camp. And then to take the test, you got, another shit, who knows what they're up to now, like, $500-600 per test to take it. So,
and the company isn't going to pay.
Oh, yeah. And the companies used to pay for them, but, then again, they used to be, $1,500 or something to do the boot camps for them. Now they're just getting so ridiculous. So now when you look through all the technology ads in there, instead of wanting somebody with 3 or 4 years of, or 5 years, 6 years of network engineering, that's a smart guy that can learn it, and training them, they want to find people that already do all these technologies. Like when you look in there now, they don't just say, hey, I want somebody with a college degree with these certs that have that. They go, no, I want somebody with 5 to 7 years in Fortinet and Aruba and Ruckus and this, and they're listing all these technologies. So companies now just want to steal talent. In other words, they want to take something some other companies put the time into training them, and they don't want to train them themselves. That's one of the things our company's really good at. They'll take people in there, and between us and all the other guys, we'll kind of train them little bits as they're coming up on how to do some of the technologies. But that's a rarity. If you go looking out there, I mean, it's almost getting, me, I've got like 10 years experience in it. It almost gets where I can't find a job because you've either worked with a technology or you haven't. Could I learn Fortinet? Sure. I'd learn it. I'm just going to have a little TLC curve. A firewall is a firewall is a firewall. And, they all work off of policies, objects, groups, access lists and, stuff like that. But, when they put, do you have 2, 3, 4, 5 years experience? No, I had never touched a Fortinet. We don't do those in there. I had never done it. Now, have I worked with Cisco wireless? Am I real familiar with wireless and have done that? Sure. But I've never touched a Aruba or a wireless. We don't use them. We're a Cisco shop. So, but you get that, you won't get the job. You won't even get past the HR thing because you don't do it. And that's one of the areas where I think the technology because you can only steal people so far.
Right.
If you're not willing to put the training, and people aren't putting training back in people and developing that field, because college college sucks. College is real good for getting your foot in the door, saying I have a bachelor degree and everything else. But other than that, the technologies they use are old. Now they do have Cisco and some of them. We had a pretty good Cisco lab, but still, there's only so much you learn, and you're jumping on your next class. When you're putting your whole heart and soul in the next class, you're not still playing with that and going over it. Until you finish college and get out in the field, you still need that field training, even though you've got a bachelor degree in it, even if you went and got the cert while you were in school.
So the talent pool is going to dry up.
Oh, yeah. It's already starting to, they go, oh, we don't have enough time. Yeah. Well, that's your own damn fault. It's because of how you guys are doing it, because nobody wants to utilize these people that have been here to start training and teaching talent now by taking in people, because there's a ton of network guys that have a couple of years experience, but not a ton of them that have worked on all the specific technologies. When you put 10 technologies in there, you want them to know, okay, well, I haven't touched that one yet. Well, anybody can learn them. It's just a matter of learning how to do the stuff. But nobody wants to train them. So eventually right now, and there's still enough of I call them old timers, but the, baby boomer generation, and even some that are in ours got, I didn't get started in it till I was 40, 45, but there's still some that started more as teenagers and came up with the technology that's still even my age that can do it. But, I think as some of those start, going to the wayside, we're going to have a whole slew of people that are having to learn things the hard way by trial by fire. And I think it's going to implode a lot of stuff in on itself. So
what do you think are, like, where we're at now? What do you think some of the good applications of AI are? Because it's a reality, regardless of how fearful we might be of it and all the warning signs that are up. And look, I honestly don't think that anybody's going to stop, because if this company puts on the brakes for 6 months, there was that big thing that everybody signed, Elon Musk and everybody signed, hey, we need to put a hold on this technology for 6 months. And all these companies agreed to it. Most of them aren't going to be doing that because of the simple fact that somebody else isn't going to put the brakes on it. And everybody's so afraid that somebody else, a country or a company, is going to get ahead of them and get that golden goose, so to speak, before they do. Like China is working on it at a nonstop pace, so America has to. But what do you think, like right now, anyway, in 2024, what do you think some of the really good aspects of AI are? The applications, can you think of any, or is it all bad?
No, I mean, there's some neat things, even with like you take Chat GPT. By the way, we're not sponsored by any of these places. We're just talking about them. But like even Chat GPT, if you're not real good at wording stuff and putting things in there, there's a lot of things where you can use them to like help you build resumes, help you write stuff better, and
come up with ideas, maybe.
You can get in, yeah, even, and I've even used them on the titling of our videos. How do I word the description? What's a good wording for a title, talking about this? And, I've jumped in there and used it on stuff like that. And, I think it's real helpful on that. I think to a degree, tying technology does make it convenient, in some aspects where you can, tie some technology to where things can make better recommendations for stuff. But I think as far as for most things that's ever come around, and there's a million movies on it, where you take somebody that invents a good thing that can be helpful and they weaponize it and turn it into a freaking monster for wiping people out and stuff like that, so I think AI is going to be the same thing. It's going to be more and more weaponized, and more where the government can try to weaponize it against people. But it's like Google, and I've always been one where I don't have a whole lot to hide or anything, but it's real convenient to have Google Maps there. Like, we have to do a mileage tracking thing at the end of the month. So going back on Google's timeline, it makes it real easy for me to do that. But, when you're linked up with that, they know where you are every second of the day, where you're at, where you're going, what you're doing, they keep records of them. It's all in your, data files and everything else on the thing. So, when they tie that technology, they label it as a convenience and how it's for us and to make our experience better. But inevitably,
it's a control.
Yeah, inevitably it's used for control, and like I said, it's weaponized against people. Like, be at your house sometime and talk about something on there, in front of your TV, your computer or whatever, and see if all your email ads, your Facebook ads don't start popping up with that thing that you talked about.
Yeah, you didn't even search it on the computer. You were just discussing it.
I'm even in front of your TV. I mean, everything is done. And if you don't think your TV's watching you and listening to you, even when it's turned off, and I know I could find some ads on that. I've had watch some specials on there, but the technology they put in TVs now, you don't even have to have your TV on for them to be able to watch you on it and listen to what's going on. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And who's to say that AI isn't doing something in the background that all these smart people creating it don't know what's going on? It could very possibly be, AI could be watching me through my webcam right now.
And probably is.
Yeah. So where does it end? Where do you see, okay, how long do you think it's going to be before the AI take over?
35 days. No, I have no idea. It could.
I was going to say 28, but
yeah. I try not to. I try not to get into that because there's so many people that say, "Yeah, we're predicting the end of the world and when it's going to take over and do that." And really, I think what it is it's a precursor to how bad everything's going to get. And like I said, I come more from a religious perspective. When I read the Bible, I read it, and I look at end times and how the world's going to be set up. And, I'm always looking at how things are developing for that. And what I think about it is that it's going to be one of the things that are used as a precursor to ushering in that system where, you can't run, you can't hide, you can't, they're going to know exactly where you're at, how to track you down. And, it's going to be tied into the things on international systems where, if you don't get the card they want you to have, whatever it is, whether it's through the use of a pandemic, I mean, evil doesn't always, and it does sometimes now. You look at them and they just flat out say it and do it. But, sometimes they try to candy coat it about how they're trying to take care of you. This is for your own benefit. So, that's where pandemics tie in real good. And we're just trying to care for you and take care of you and everything else. And, so then they start getting where you can't buy, sell, or trade unless you take that shot, unless you get the this
chip
or that, and the chip or whatever you do. And I think eventually it'll be ushered in with something like that. That's where I think the dangerous things and where some of those will be weaponized to just make it where you can't function in society. You can't go, like a Social Security card, or something like that. Originally Social Security cards, if you look at them back, when my mom got them, and back in those days, it used to have stamped right there on the Social Security card, do not share this with anybody. Don't get this. It's your own private one. And now you can't do anything without Social Security. You can't get a job without your Social Security. You can't get it. You have to share that with freaking all kinds of people, so
you do.
Yeah.
It doesn't that used to be a big deal. Oh, always protect your Social Security number. Never share your Social Security.
You might as well put a laminator and put it on your car or something driving down the road, because
have it on your license plate. My Social Security number is
right.
They track everything.
Yeah, because they know, they know what it is and everything else. So it's.
So you think that the end game to all of this is control, to usher
Definitely.
in? To usher
I
in
do. I mean, that's my thought on it, is that, and I think that's going to happen every once in a while, to see how much control they can corral people and how much they can use to, shut places down and take control of the whole place. And then, you get one or two of those, three of those that happen, then all of a sudden they come in and, once they know they can totally control, then, then they come in and just start doing it in a way that, is just a total takeover with it.
I was talking to my son, and we were talking about possible, he's 14, he's a freshman, he'll be 15 in November. He's a freshman in high school, and he's just getting started. And the high school he goes to is really focused, let's put it, on career paths. Like, they have a lot of opportunities. It's, same place Darren went and Michael went. For you guys that don't know, that's some of our kids. But they're really, really focused in on technology. They're focused in on different things. And he was talking to me about it, and we were just talking about it on the way home today. And I was like, whatever you do, don't ever think that you probably want to go to work for somebody as much as if you could develop a skill that you could work for yourself or freelance or something like that. And he's like, well, I'm really into editing. He just got it's not a job, but he found somebody that has their own YouTube channel that needs an editor, and he's pretty good at it. So he's doing the editing for this guy's channel. This guy's like in Canada or someplace like that. And it's a gaming channel and Fortnite or whatever. And so he goes in and he edits his videos for him, and he's getting really good at it. And he's really good with the technology. He's like, well, what about being an editor? And I'm like, you could, if you're really talented and you could do that, you could get into movies, you could get into all kinds of broadcasts, you get into the entertainment field, YouTube, whatever. And then the thought hit me, and I said, until AI takes it over, what the heck are the kids going to do? I mean, how many jobs is AI eventually going to replace? I mean, I'm a warehouse worker. That's gone. I mean,
Right.
the company I work for already has robots. Matter of fact, the company I worked with, well, the location that I work with now was half robotics and half human driven, and they switched it over to all human driven
Right.
because we all operate these basically glorified forklifts. It's called a
Right.
pit. And so they went to that, and it's very successful right now until they come up with the robot that can do all this, run the, you know, the forklifts and all that stuff like that. But I wonder, where the heck is everybody going to get a job? What are
Well,
they gonna
luckily,
do?
and I've talked to people, and I really think, it's kind of the precursors setting all that stuff up right now on it. And I don't think me or you, I mean, we may see it, but I think me and you'll both be retired and off doing something when it actually hits in full speed.
Right.
It's going to be some of the younger generation coming up now that's really getting impacted by that shit. We're up a lot closer to the end than we are the beginning,
Yeah.
of our working career, definitely.
Of our
So,
lives.
yeah, do I think within the next 3 to 5 years it's going to replace, shut us out? Nah, but I know they're setting all the things in place now. Yeah, because all that technology is expensive, so they have to do it little pieces at a time. And
Yeah, that's true.
otherwise it'll shut their whole system down. So they have to put this in. One of them is with Cisco. Let's put in the DNA. Let's put in this. And DNA is their structure that is a self-replicating, self-repairing. And they're getting all the pieces of all these companies put in with that. And then, once they do that, that's one step of it. And then they tie in the AI, they tie in all the different programs that can tie in with that to control it. And then before long, all they need is a guy that, if a piece of hardware burns out, goes and replaces it. So pretty much you've got a network engineer that's just being a mechanic.
Right.
And going and replacing a box if it's down or, some.
So you think your positions are going to be eliminated? Network engineering. We know customer service, like call centers, where you used to be able to go, "Thank you for calling," and answer people's questions. That's pretty much all run by AI now. That's going out the window. Warehouse work, different fields. Even I don't know how many people, at least of our generation, are going to actually be trusting machines to diagnose our medical conditions and things like that. But a lot of people may say, "Hey, I want a second opinion. Tim, you've got cancer. Well, I'd like to get a second opinion on that," and have an AI
say you're ugly too.
Yeah, you not only have cancer, but you're stupid and ugly.
Yeah,
So
right.
just die now. Just
right.
get it over with,
Yeah.
But what are they going to, what's that generation coming up going to do when all the menial tasks, you got robot lawnmowers, truck drivers. That's another thing. Self-driving trucks, at least for the long haul stuff. They're working on that I know of.
Oh, they've already got it implemented at, a couple of companies already doing it and testing it, and they're testing them right now with the driver sitting in the seat. But, it's not, but, they fully plan on making those go,
at least for the
fleets.
In the past, I was a truck driver, and I know that like a lot of the way the distribution system works is that you'll go pick up at a major distribution area where you can fit the trucks in. They have a corridor that they're working on. I don't know if it's completed or not. And I've heard, and somebody leave a comment in the chat and let me know, or leave a comment later if you watch this, where they've got a corridor which is going to be nothing but for the long haul trucks that are going to run through the center of the country, east and west, what have you. And then they take it to a main distribution site and it's dropped off. And then the smaller trucks that can get in the cities like Atlanta, New York, New Jersey, where it's harder to get around with these big rigs, that I don't see going away. The local distribution from the warehouse to the stores or whatever, I don't see that happening right away. But that's heavily going to be impacted. I mean, I
Yeah.
was just up by Walmart. I saw drones flying up in the air delivering
That's what I was going to
packages.
say. We're out in the country, man. We're out in freaking
Amazon.
Hazel, and we at Loretta's, where she's working at, they've got a
Yep.
whole drone pad, and they've got
Yep.
people to live. And right now they've got it to where, it has to be something under 2 pounds or 3
Right.
pounds or something. But, that's just technology and increasing the lift and everything else. So, if that ends up taking off, right now it doesn't seem super effective because you go, how many things in there do you got that's under 2 pounds? I mean, yeah, maybe delivering medications or something. But
I can tell you honestly, Amazon's working on it, and you can get now actually a target that you place in your backyard, which is fenced in. Forget about, sorry, porch pirates. Your days are numbered, because unless you want to jump in the backyard with Fido, they're going to have pads that you can actually get from Amazon, put it in your backyard, which will, zero the drone in, and this drone will drop it right on that pad in your backyard where it's secured. Your packages won't be at your front door anymore. They'll be in your backyard, probably marked by your dog a couple times.
I wonder how many of those are getting shot down while they're going, hey, here comes another package. Hey, let's see what we got today.
So, Jeff, you think you're getting that new camera?
Yeah, that's
Boom.
right.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
So it's crazy. It's crazy. When I was a kid, this was all science fiction, and science fiction is now becoming reality.
Oh yeah.
And but the larger thing I see, the biggest worry I have more than anything else is, Russia's already got automated drones that are under the ocean. You hear rumors that they have a automated drone system that can create a tsunami by imploding under the water, making such a big tsunami it can wash country shorelines away and things like that. You hear all these things. I don't know how far off in the future that's going to be, but I just honestly, I see two avenues. Either what was it? Some country already gave AI human rights. Some was it Middle Eastern country?
I guess, man. I guess you can claim to be anything now. So it's like, what gender do you? I'm claiming AI.
Yeah, but how much do we want to sacrifice our convenience for? And then what are we going to do? Are we just going to all be in a virtual world watching YouTube and playing games? People will be like, oh, well, we'll have so much more time to write that book I never want, or learn painting, or pick up the guitar, or,
right.
Be creative. I think that there's a certain amount of the human population that puts its identity on a career and work and things like that. Even though we complain about having to go to work every day, there's a certain part of us that, at least Americans anyway, seems like,
right,
that are going to kind of lose their identity when they don't have anything to do. And I'm sorry, human nature, when we don't have nothing to do, we can be kind of dangerous.
Yeah. I know I get in a lot of trouble when I'm bored.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we're coming up on an hour. If you guys have any thoughts on there, be sure to chime in afterwards. I know we're just starting this channel, so
yeah.
If you get any, if you guys have any other topics that you want to talk about too, be sure to leave them down in the chats or let us know. Or
do you have an email content? Do you have an email contact on the channel that they can send suggestions for topics and things like that?
I don't, but we can put one in there or on the description of it
and
everything else. So we can put it on the main page of it and everything. I'll look at that either tonight or tomorrow or something and see. I don't know if that's on it or not. If it I got my video going on that other one. So
heck, right now we'll just be lucky if we can just get to do our lives on time.
Yeah, and these will get better where we can work on them. So anyway, we will. It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
We are working on another one, but we may, I don't know, this next week. I think we're both kind of tied up with stuff and everything. So
Yeah.
we can't get one this next weekend. You guys may see one of us chiming on here for live, and may have a couple of those popping on here from time to time. And
But feel free to leave comments and any concerns, any suggestions you might have that might make within reason, everybody. Again, all comments and opinions are always appreciated, but keep it civil, keep it nice, things like that, or you just won't
yeah.
get. Oh, Loretta just popped in and said, here's an AI scenario. I say jokingly or sarcastically, you're trying to kill me. AI interpretation. 1, person is delusional or schizophrenic. Psychiatry needed. 2, person is in danger. Dial 911.
Right. Well, that's true. Looking at the thing. Okay,
Yeah.
this person is schizophrenic. Okay, this person's crazy, and then they end up
Lock 'em up
because they don't call. Yeah. No, that's right. No, she's absolutely right, man. I tell you, it's getting that, or who's controlling it. Let's say you're calling that because it's some crazy government person on there, and then they're going, oh no, on this one, this person's delusional, go lock him up, and will they be making those kind of choices on people that disagree with them politically too, and that's the whole other thing. Is there's a whole other topic on their plans to shut people up that don't agree and stuff like that. It's a whole other topic we could cover.
Deep fakes. So I didn't even talk about that, but like everybody's probably seen the Tom Cruise deep fake thing where, it's just, you could make anybody, you could destroy somebody with a good deep fake if there was no way of knowing. And I think actually YouTube itself is concerned with it. You can't when as creators now, we have to answer questions such as, is any of this of your video AI generated? Was any of it generated by an artificial intelligence? And you have to note that, or they'll pull your whole channel down.
What if you use ChatGPT to come up with the description?
I don't think it's that. I think it's more along the lines of
your video.
So
I shouldn't have cloned both of us and
right
with AI. So I should have had the real ones of us here instead of our AI clones.
Yeah.
We'll think about that for the future.
I understand.
Well, next time maybe we'll have the real Jeff and Tim on here. Maybe we'll have them as guests with us, so we'll all be together, the clones and us. So.
But that's a good point, though, Loretta, as far as like AI's interpretation. If you say jokingly or sarcastically, you're trying to kill me, what's AI going to even interpret that as? Is it going to take it seriously? Is it going to know the nuances when I say, stop it? Oh, my God, you're killing me.
And that's always been the whole problem with text and communicating by text and everything all the time is you can't see mannerisms. You can't see when someone's joking. You can't. So, that's another one of the problems with the AI and stuff like that. But
it's easy to communicate, and kids today don't talk on the phone. They text. And adults do the same thing because it's easy to hide behind that text. It's harder to have a serious conversation with somebody. It's much easier to text that conversation with somebody.
Yeah, plus the whole thing is everybody just gets so reliant on it. You get one EMP, a big solar flare coming that shuts the whole thing down for a while that takes years to rebuild. Yeah. Everybody'd be lost without them. People used to know how to do everything with papers and files, and I don't think anybody would know how to function anymore.
No, I don't
shut all the technology down,
Mass casualties, if that ever happened.
Yeah, so
that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah,
we could
we'll have another show. Sorry, guys, I know we're getting over an hour. Not trying to get into other topics that take a whole other.
All right. Policeman Jeff here is trying to end the stream because we're over an hour, so we will end it. It's been a pleasure doing it, though.
Yeah. No, it's been fun, man. We'll definitely have more of them. Thank all you guys for watching, and
Yeah, and if you're watching in
thanks.
the future, feel free to comment. Like I said, make sure
I'd
that
like
you
to
check
thank
out
my
the
wife for keeping us in check and making sure we're actually broadcasting.
Yeah.
Thanks, honey.
Thank you, Loretta.
Yeah, she's always good at watchdogging us from the back and making sure, hey, you guys know you're just talking to yourself.
Which we didn't. We didn't
Yeah,
until
I
she
had
let
no
us-
idea. We were 10 minutes into it, and she
Yeah.
said, "Yeah, you guys, I don't know who you're talking to, but you're not on the air."
You're
Oh
not
no,
broadcast.
help! What do we? All right.
That's
Well,
us.
till next time. Thanks, guys, and we will see you on the next stream or video.
All right. We'll talk to you guys later.